Hi, Guy Patterson from Patterson Business Consulting. The SBA states that 50% of new business ventures fail in the first 5 years. They also state that 90% of new business ventures fail in 10 years. And Bloomberg suggests that 8 of every 10 small businesses fail within the first 18 months. That's 80%, and it doesn't need to be that way. There are business professionals out there with experience in small businesses and navigating new startups, and Patterson's Business Consulting employs them. I'd like to show you my MVP, but first, quickly, let me show you that in the state of Idaho, the SBA is aware of 150,000 businesses. We believe that we can obtain 500 clients the first year and potentially work toward a goal of 5,000 clients. On the right-hand side of the screen is the MVP we originally started with, which was a trifold flyer. I'm very much geared toward one-on-one sales, face-to-face, door-to-door. Cold calling is what I have experience in, and trifolds are ideally suited for that. At the recommendation of our instructor, I moved to a Wix web page to help generate clients, and I think that was a great idea. Here we have the services that we offer, whom we serve, which I think is a great field. Automotive-related businesses I have experience in, custom home installation I have experience in, food and entertainment businesses. And as I've interviewed my customers and gotten insights from them, I have learned in great detail that they feel most comfortable getting counseling from someone that has specific industry experience. And so that was something valuable I learned and that caused an early pivot for me. So I've shown you my market sizing, I've shown you my MVP. As far as my value proposition and insights, I'd like to show you my new and old value proposition here. And this is split screen. Left side is what I started with first week. Right screen is what I have from last week. You can see my value proposition hasn't changed dramatically, other than I did receive a recommendation from an interview I did with a web page designer that recommended that I add some training modules on my website that had additional value. I think that's a great idea, and so you can see there's a pivot there for that. In my value proposition, I've had some interesting conversations with people, but most of them have steered me the way that I already was. The customer segments, the thing I've learned about my customer segments is, again, I mentioned through interviews to stick with things I know, and you can see on the left I had pretty much the things that I had on my web page. On the right, I've added a few things. I've cleaned it up for the instructor request, but I've talked to people that were Avon, Mary Kay reps, Scentsy reps, wedding business owners, some daycares, and they have encouraged me to offer my services to smaller venues, and I'll get into that in a minute in revenue, how that changed my thinking. My customer and distribution channels have stayed relatively the same as far as the distribution channels, other than I've added a door-to-door marketing crew, was a pivot that I got off of an interview that I thought was very good. My key partners has changed huge. All the things that I thought were going to be key partners early on, I had to pivot. I've changed twice. There you can see this is my original list, this is my additional list. I've cut that down to a door-to-door crew, an accounting firm in each market, and a finance partner at a bank. My key activities has also changed. I went out with just very business-oriented things there, and what I've done is I've pivoted and changed to where I realized I need to create packages based on the needs of my clients, seek out small businesses, build a referral network, do some B2B sales. I also want to point out two key resources is on here, and man, I started out thinking I could just do it as me, and I realized it's not a small business, this is a startup, and so I need to have a web page designer, either on staff or retainer. I need a B2B sales team, they'll be door to door. I need a personal assistant. I need to building in some cars for salesmen, and I need to build a small business database. I have learned my costs have changed because of that. Initially, I thought I'd just have my own website development about 5,000, and now I've realized that I need to bring in these employees, have some cars for lease and a building lease, some other things I didn't initially consider. My revenue has changed a lot, and it was a great pivot for me because with these recommendations to pick on like Avon and Mary Kay ladies and wedding businesses, my business structure was way too cheap in the beginning. And so I went from the 400, 800 thing to doing micro consulting and mini consulting. And micro consulting, I'd give, for $100, I'd give people one idea that would save them 1,000. And my mini consulting is $200. And one idea that I would give them would save them at least $200 or $2,000. And then I'd offer monthly consulting for 2,000 up to 20 hours. and then additional time would be billed at $100 per hour. And I did this to cover the costs of employees because, again, I started out thinking that these revenue streams would be sufficient for myself, but I realized I need to pay for others as well. My relevant past test sells for blocks. I think to me the past test fell was really my revenue stream. I've got hammered a lot on that from people thinking I was too cheap to too expensive. And so I've really tried to be responsive there. And then my key resources, I realized I couldn't be Superman and do it all alone. My customer research, my early evangelists and scorecard, I want to show you, here's my scorecard from, I don't know if I have it on my old one or not. And that's just my initial list, so we'll move that out of our way. Here's my scorecard, and the interesting thing that I've learned about that, I'll blow that up. You can see I'm starting to put names to help keep track of where I'm at as I get so many. But the thing that I've learned is that my long and short interviews, the people I think are going to be long and short often get swapped because people like, this, let's see, who's somebody I did recently. Mike is somebody I did recently that turned out to be super insightful, and I ended up doing a long interview, and I only budgeted a short interview time with him. So doing the questionnaire has been excellent in talking to these people. My initial canvas I showed you compared to my old canvas, you can see how it has changed. The business model canvas is finally starting to make some sense to me. Initially, I thought it was kind of a weird thing. I didn't know why I would ever do it in business. But now, as I'm progressing, I can see the value in it, and I can see how this would be more beneficial to me than even though you need a business plan. I think this would help me refine my business plan, and I look forward to getting feedback from you all to help me improve this, because even the people that aren't evangelists and hate my idea have always given me good feedback and insight. So I look forward to getting good feedback and insight from all of you. Thank you for your time.